All right, let's talk AI. If you're paying any attention to the world of technology, you've heard these two names everywhere, GPT and BERT. They're basically the superstars of AI language models. But what's the actual difference between them? You've probably wondered this yourself. Are they like two heavyweights in a ring battling for AI supremacy? Or is it something else entirely? Maybe they're not even in the same line of work. Well, the answer might be a little different than you think.
You see, the best way to understand them is to stop thinking of them as rivals and start thinking of them as professionals with totally different skill sets. Just remember this. GPT is like a creative author, and BERT is like a master detective. And this difference? It all comes down to how they were taught to read.
So first up, let's meet our author, GPT. This AI's whole reason for being, its entire education, is built around one single goal: creating whatever comes next. It's a writer, it's a generator, it's a builder of new things from scratch.
The name really gives the game away, right? Generative pre-trained transformer. That G for generative is the most important letter here. It's what we call a decoder-only model, which is just a technical way of saying its job is to look at a bunch of words and then predict the most likely word to come right after. And what does our author do best? Well, exactly what you'd think. It writes articles and stories for you. It's the brains behind conversational chatbots. It can even take a super long document and give you the short version, or turn a boring spreadsheet into a story you actually want to read. You see the pattern? It's all about creating.
And the reason it's so good at this is because of its training, which has a fancy name, causal language modeling. But honestly, it's simple. Imagine writing a sentence. You can only see the words you've already written to decide on the next one. That's GPT. It's always looking from left to right, asking, okay, based on what's been said, what's next? Okay, now for our second character, BERT, the master detective. BERT's job isn't to write a new story. Its job is to walk into a room, look at a story that's already been written, and understand it deeply. For BERT, it is all about context and comprehension. And again, the name tells you everything you need to know. Bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. Here, the magic word is that B for bidirectional. As an encoder-only model, it's not generating anything new. It's encoding the meaning of existing text by looking at it from every possible angle, forwards and backwards. So what does a detective do? It investigates. BERT can read a product review and tell you if it's positive or negative. That's sentiment analysis. It can read a huge article and pull out the one specific answer to your question. It can also find all the people, places, and organizations mentioned in a document. That's named entity recognition. It's all about finding the clues and meaning that are already there. And this is where the difference in their education really shines. BERT learns using something called masked language modeling. Think about it like a sentence in a report where a keyword has been blacked out with a marker. The detective's job is to figure out that missing word using all the other words before and after as clues. It's like solving a puzzle, and that's what makes it so good at understanding the full picture. So you can see how this works. Their incredible skills come from two completely different kinds of training. It's like one went to a creative writing academy, and the other graduated from a top-tier detective school. So let's put it all side by side. GPT, our author, uses a decoder architecture. Its attention is causal, meaning it only looks backward, from left to right to generate what's next. But BERT, our detective, uses an encoder. Its attention is bidirectional. It looks at the full context, forwards and backwards, to understand what's there. One is built for generation, the other for comprehension. It really is that straightforward. And here's a cool little fact for you. To make BERT such a good detective, during its training, about 15% of the words in its textbook were just hidden, randomly blacked out. And by solving these fill-in-the-blank puzzles over and over and over again, it became an absolute master of understanding context.
Okay, so if they're not rivals, how do they actually work in the real world? Well, this is where it gets really interesting, because they're not competitors at all. They're actually the ultimate AI tag team. Just look at these scenarios. In customer support, a frustrated customer sends in an email. First, BERT, the detective, reads it, figures out exactly what the problem is, and extracts the key details. Then it hands the case file over to GPT, the author, who drafts a perfect, helpful reply. Or in search, BERT understands what you're really asking for and finds the right documents. Then GPT reads them and writes a direct summary answer for you. They work together. Now, of course, no AI is perfect. We gotta have a quick reality check.
Generative models like GPT, our author, can sometimes get a little too creative and just make things up. We call them hallucinations, and it means you always have to double-check their work. They can also pick up biases from their training data. And finally, both models have a limit to how much text they can read at once, so super long documents can be tricky.
So after all this, the question isn't which one is better. The real question is, which specialist do I need to hire for this specific job? And here's the simple way to figure it out. First, know what your goal is. Then just ask yourself this one crucial question. Do I need to create something new, or do I need to understand something that already exists? If the answer is create, you hire the author, GPT. If the answer is understand, you hire the detective, BERT. Simple as that.
And that brings us to one last big question to chew on. Right now, we have these amazing, distinct specialists. But what's next? As AI gets more and more powerful, are we going to see even more specialized AIs for every little task? Or are we heading toward a future where one giant AI model can learn to be both the perfect author and the perfect detective, all at the same time? Now that is the next chapter in this whole story. Thanks for joining me.